conflict that is not addressed or acknowledged with compassion for ourselves becomes multiplied, and it gets turned into resentment. And we are no longer showing up within ourselves and within the relationships in a way that serves our highest and greatest good. So I got my very first D in 6th grade in physics class. And while the way that it was being taught wasn't really my jam, the one thing that I remember is that energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be transformed, by Mr. Albert Einstein. And the more and more that I started to live in this human journey and my path began to unravel and brought me to where I am today, the more and more that I understood that everything is energy. Even this cup that I'm drinking tea in might look like a cup, but it's all energy and vibration in materialized form so that I could have this experience with this cup. Even the way that the cup became a cup stemmed from energy alone. It was somebody's energy that handmade this cup. But before that, they thought about it. Their energy was in thought form, and it was through their energy that they exerted outwards to create this cup so that I can have this experience and we can share this conversation. Everything is energy. And the great thing to know about energy is that energy is meant to be expressed. When energy is not expressed, it is suppressed, and therefore it becomes depressed. And that's why I always say that one of the highest forms of self-care is self-expression, is speaking your truth, is expressing yourself in whichever way that you deeply, deeply desire to express yourself without putting anything else on. Without putting on a performance, without putting on a facade, without feeling like you need to project yourself in a certain way. Energy is meant to be expressed. And this doesn't mean that, you need to have a YouTube channel or that you need to start a podcast like myself. There are so many different forms of expression. Maybe expression for you means to dress the way that you desire to dress, not the way that your parents want you to. Maybe expression to you means to work in the job or to have a lifestyle or a career that feels more true to you, not what society wants for you. What feels true for you? What is your unique expression? And is it really your unique expression? Or are you just conforming to whatever it is that's happening around you? And to know this, we have to give ourselves space and time to explore what that actually looks like within ourselves. Because otherwise, energy that is not expressed is depressed. And we feel it. We feel heavy inside. We wake up feeling heavy. And we don't even know why. The day has barely started. Or we go to bed feeling heavy. When, we get to go to bed and feel light and feel at peace, and we get to go into a deep state of rest. And so much of this is because our energies are just stagnant inside of our bodies, just wanting, desiring to be expressed. So is there something that you've been holding on your heart that you haven't been saying? And can you allow yourself to say it? Can you be willing to be direct with your feelings, your thoughts, your desires? And can you hold compassionate space for yourself to be able to explore what that looks like. Whenever I feel called to say something and I watch myself swallow it, I feel what that's like in my body. And it's not comfortable. So as uncomfortable as you might feel to speak your truth, you're better off dealing or maneuvering through that discomfort by speaking your truth so that you can experience the lightness in your body and the peace that you feel when you finally express it out into the world. You create space for healing for yourself in that, and you create space for healing for other people in that. Because conflict within ourselves that is not addressed or acknowledged with compassion becomes conflict multiplied, and it equals resentment. Conflict that is not addressed or acknowledged with compassion for ourselves becomes multiplied, and it gets turned into resentment. And we are no longer showing up within ourselves and within the relationships in a way that serves our highest and greatest good. And we become hard on ourselves, and we become hard on the people that are around us. That's why it's so important that you express yourself. That's why it's so important that you allow the words that you want to say to flow right through you. That's why it's so important that you speak your truth even when it feels uncomfortable for you to. The more and more that you do this, the more lighter in your body it feels. So seek every opportunity as an opportunity to speak your truth. I had one of my students tell me, I just spoke my truth for one of the first times in my life and it felt so good. She was at a dentist appointment and had agreed to get certain work done. And she knew exactly what that price was going to be. And towards the end of her treatment, she got the bill, and it ended up being so much more for a treatment that she had never asked for. And instead of just going home to her house and dealing with it, she decided to say something. She said, hey, I'm happy to pay for this treatment, but it's not something that I asked for. This showed up on my invoice, and it's not a service that we had talked about. And when it's you and another person, there's a relationship, there's an agreement that you're getting into with somebody else's services, right? And by her speaking her truth, that company, that dentist, respected her. And they said to her, we apologize, we're sorry that happened, and we're going to completely waive this treatment. And next time we'll make sure that we'll tell you in advance. Now that works out for her, and it works out for the company, because now she's not going to go home with resentment and leave a terrible review and tell her friends and her family that this situation happened, because she spoke her truth. They had the opportunity to address what was going on for her, and she had the opportunity to address and acknowledge what didn't feel good to her because it wasn't agreed upon. And that feeling, as uncomfortable as it might be in that moment, becomes so much lighter when you realize how much of an opportunity that it provides for both you and that person. So if you are feeling called to have a conversation of something that is on your heart, have the conversation from a place of love and compassion, and you will be so surprised what that outcome is going to look like. And either way, if you are in service and in integrity to your truth, whether that outcome is what you expected or not, it's going to be in service to your highest and greatest good. So be bold in expressing your desires and expressing your truth. And know that your voice matters, that you matter. And so when you speak your truth, when you live in integrity to your truth, you become your truth. And life feels so much more in harmony rather than it does feel like friction or stagnant energy that is just bottling up inside of your body. So express yourself through your body. Dance, move, speak, sing. Sing to your food. Sing as you're walking down the sidewalk. The more and more that you can express your beautiful energy, the more and more you that you feel you will be. I'm sending you all my love. May peace and prosperity effortly flow your way. Namaste. I pray to the divinity.